Hey everybody, my name is Brian, and I'm here to do my best to explain what Path of Exile is to a complete beginner, while also providing enough information to get any player going on topics they may not be familiar with. I hope to cover as many topics as possible in this series with focus on the following. In this video we're going to be covering the following topics. So, first off, we need to know, what is Path of Exile? Well, Path of Exile is a free-to-play online action role-playing game, or also known as an ARPG, that is based in the dark world of Wraeclast. You are an exile in this world, with the ability to harness a great power others of the land cannot. As such, you are able to use skill gems, which are socketed into gear and supported by linked support gems. This means all exiles have the ability to use whichever combination of skill gems and support gems that they wish to build around. In your time in Wraeclast, you can also interact, trade, and party with other players, or you can completely ignore them and play on your own. The focus of this game is not only the story, in which you beat in 3 different difficulties, normal, cruel, and merciless, subject to change in patch 3.0, but the customization and growth of power of your character as you reached endgame mapping and bosses. This customization not only springs from just the skill gems you have chosen, the investments into the sprawling passive tree, the ascendancies of your class, and of course the massive pool of randomly generated loot to equip yourself with, whether you found it, traded for it, or even crafted it yourself. Did I mention that Path of Exile is really driven by randomness in its loot and crafting system? No? Well, prepare yourself for endless nights of praying to the RNG gods. Before I begin the guide, a great resource to consult all the time is the community-driven Path of Exile wiki. If there is ever something that you don't understand about the game, it more than likely can be answered there. The Path of Exile forums are also another great place to find information and build guides. Both of these resources are linked in the description below. I do recommend, though, trying to play your own build ideas a time or two before resorting to full-out build guides, as blindly following them will provide you little benefit in the understanding of the game's mechanics and what it takes to get a build to work. Hopefully from this guide series I can explain all the mechanics well enough to give you a good base understanding of how to make your own character from the ground up. So the first thing that you'll be prompted with after logging into Path of Exile is which league you wish to make your character in. Leagues in Path of Exile come in a couple variations, but the main 2 base rule sets being Softcore and Hardcore. In Softcore, your character can die as many times as they like and suffer no penalties aside from a growing experience loss depending on the difficulty of the zone you're in. Normal has no experience loss, Cruel has a 5% experience loss, while Merciless carries a full 10% experience loss. You cannot de-level from these experience losses, and these are also subject to change with patch 3.0. In the Hardcore rule set, if your character dies, the character is removed from the league and placed into the permanent standard Softcore league. Now there are also types of leagues that exist on top of these base rule sets, temporary and permanent leagues. Permanent leagues include standard Softcore and standard Hardcore. These are the base leagues of the game that have been running since the reset in beta. Permanent leagues are where all legacy gear and characters from older temporary leagues end up. They also include most of the older temporary league mechanics that have been tweaked to coexist and feel balanced with each other. Temporary leagues, on the other hand, were initially made as beta testing realms for the new game mechanics, but over time have become the way to play the game. Leagues that introduce new mechanics generally last for about 3 months, with a fresh high scores ladder and economy, meaning that you begin with no items or characters. For example, from recent history, they can introduce things like new quest types and unique item upgrades, such as the Prophecy League, or new ways to craft gear with the Essence League, or new monster types and mechanics with the Breach League. These leagues also have accompanying challenges that players can complete during the period of the league to receive aesthetic microtransaction rewards, such as footprints or back attachments. Temporary leagues come in Softcore and Hardcore rule sets, generally the same mechanic for both Softcore and Hardcore. After a temporary league ends, all of the characters and items in the player's stash are merged with the permanent leagues of their respective base rule set, standard Softcore or standard Hardcore. I always recommend that new players start in a temporary league, Softcore or Hardcore variations, as they will have a better footing in the economy, have access to new challenges and rewards, while still being able to play into standard once the league ends. So now that we've chosen a league, we have to choose what kind of character type we would like. In Path of Exile, there are 7 character classes: the Marauder, the Ranger, the Witch, the Templar, the Shadow, the Duelist, and the Scion. The Scion is unlocked once you reach the end of Act 3 in the story on any class and league. These classes are not hard to find with specific playstyles or exclusive skills. Skills are instead items that are socketed into gear, while each class starts on a different point in the same passive skill tree and has access to any of the nodes in that tree. Each class also has its own selection between 3 ascendancy classes, which provide further power and specialization to that class, making it excel at certain types of builds. Each class also has a certain attribute affinity based on its location in the tree. The basic attributes are strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Some classes are purely based on one type of attribute, while others are a hybrid of 2 or 3 attributes. These attributes provide small but meaningful bonuses if stacked high enough and dictate the equip requirement of skills and gear. Now, before we pick a class, let's take a look at the passive tree and see where all the classes start, and get an idea of how the skill tree is structured for your character you want to create.